2026 is going to be an awesome year. We got some pretty cool stuff coming up. First off, we got Foundations of Recovery. This is our flagship program. We're starting it in January.
This is for anyone, man, woman, or couple who wants to come and reclaim their heart from shame, trauma, and betrayal. We start off with an education on all sorts of principles, give you the common language. We feed you from a fire hose in terms of all things recovery.
It is such a great start to recovery. And we get at the roots of things, Tyler. This isn't like any other program. Like, this is our healing journey in process, and Foundations is where we begin.
If you look at the value that you're getting there to kick off a good recovery with all of the right education, all of the right language, and a team to get you started while also being directed by Brannon and myself through the whole process, what a deal.
So if you're interested, if you're struggling, if you've been wanting to do something for a long time, jump into this. This only comes around every so often, and we would love to have you there.
Click the link in the description to sign up for it. And to make it even sweeter, we're also including a raffle for a free pass to the Radiant Dawn retreat. Anyone who signs up for Foundations will be added to the raffle for that free Radiant Dawn pass. If you're a man and you sign up for Foundations, your name still gets entered, and you can give that pass away if you win it to any woman that you want to.
So what you're saying, Tyler, is if you sign up and participate in Foundations, you could possibly go to Radiant Dawn for free?
That's exactly what I'm saying, which is crazy because Foundations by itself is already an insane value.
Man, I sound so salesy. But it actually is awesome. So come to Foundations. And even if you don't come to Foundations, sign up for Radiant Dawn. It's beyond therapy, the best healing experiences that you can have.
Click the link below and come join us. How do I get my spouse to tell the truth about cheating? Welcome to the Therapy Brothers podcast.
I'm Brannon.
I'm Tyler.
We're brothers.
We're therapists.
And we know recovery.
Bring your stories, your questions, your successes with real recovery.
Hey, Tyler, you ready to have some hard conversations?
Let's do it.
Let the Therapy Brothers podcast begin. Ooh, Tyler, this sounds like a fun one.
We actually get this one quite a bit.
We get versions of this like crazy. Yeah. But before we dive into that, I just want to know how your Father's Day was.
Dude, it was really, really nice, man. It was pretty low key. I ended up I ended up for some reason having to be the dude who spoke in church on Father's Day. So
I've had to do that before.
My daughter is funny because I kind of I wrestled with it for like a week and a half, the topic. It was Father's Day. And I said, well, do you want a specific topic? And they said, do whatever you want. And so I was like, they don't know what they're getting themselves into. So I thought about it and I wrestled with it for quite a while. And finally, I kind of came up with this thing, and my daughter had showed me a scripture that says, inasmuch, she was making fun of it because of the language the kids use these days, and it says, inasmuch as ye can send, send. So,
as much as you can send.
Yeah, the kids use the word like send it,
yeah,
right?
Send it. Just gonna send it.
Just send it. So I was like,
gonna send it.
I was like, all right, well, I guess inasmuch as I can send, I'm gonna send. So they gave me free forum to get on and talk about all the masculinity stuff that we talk about in our podcast, and kind of shared some stories from my own past, and
should have told me. I would have driven up.
Threw a little bit of a shout out to the old man, but then kind of just went for it. I think I told my whole congregation that my 3 drugs of choice were video games, Dr. Pepper, and Mountain Dew, just like the old episode we did. So, and porn.
Yeah, you Dr. Pepper and Mountain Dew.
Dr. Pepper. I told him I used to drink 120 ounces a day.
You should have done like 5 of them, because you could have added in StarCraft and Hot Lamp.
Well, I did not include the Hot Lamp. Hot Lamp's my current addiction. The other ones have kind of been dealt with by now. But yeah, so my poor daughters and my wife just heard me tell the whole congregation that I used to have a pornography addiction, and
that's all right.
So we went for a drive later that night, me and my daughter, and I was like, she was like, we were talking about like fear of rejection, and I said, I'm kind of having a little bit of a vulnerability hangover, and I said, the good thing is that I'm going to have a few friends at church now, and the rest of the people probably don't talk to me anymore. And I guess that's okay.
And they probably didn't really talk to you much in the first place. So.
No, that's exactly right. So.
Yeah. So now you know who your real friends are. So,
yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, really quick, I want to tell you what we did for Father's Day. I had the old man over, and Jenny actually made a big giant meatloaf and mashed potatoes. And I just want to tell you this: he was in heaven.
Oh, I bet, man. He probably had like 4 plates and just
loaded up the meatloaf.
Down home American kind of meal. Like that's right down Dad's alley.
Yeah, it was awesome. Sat out on the deck and just watched him eat the meatloaf, and it was like perfect Father's Day. It's perfect.
Soaking it up with his boy and his grandkids.
Yeah. It was great.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah. All right, let's shift gears, Tyler. We're getting into a question that we get all the time.
Before we go, Brannon, just one other thing, just for our listeners, just a reminder that we love having you on the show, whether it's a written question or coming on in person. We realized that we messed up with our website a while ago, and people might have been trying to get on and sign up, but there was no availability. We've got that issue fixed now.
Yes.
So therapybrothers.org. We would love to have you come and sign on to come on the show with us. Any question you want to bring, relationship, recovery, trauma, whatever.
If you have beef with us.
Yeah, that's fine too. And then also you can submit a question in writing if you'd like at therapybrothers.org.
Yeah, if you've ever thought like, God, maybe I should go on, or now's the time because there's openings, there's space, and so come talk to us. We'd love to talk to you. So, all right, Tyler, you ready?
Yeah.
So a common question that we get, I mean, I think it's kind of the nature of the work that we do, Tyler. But it's this question. Here's a question that we have. I have suspicions that my partner is cheating. I have asked them and they continue to deny it, but there's evidence everywhere. What do I do?
It's that kind of like no man's land of feeling crazy, because it sounds like there's probably little pieces of like breadcrumbs everywhere that are leading to trail that kind of lines up to saying or doing it, but then when you go and approach your partner, you're met with that response and something feels off. You know something's not quite right, but you also want to trust your partner, and then you feel kind of crazy. That's what I'm gathering from the question. That's the pretty typical response.
Typical, yeah. So, we see all different things across the continuum with this. Sometimes there's very little evidence of cheating going on, and yet the partner knows or believes that is happening. Sometimes there's loads of evidence that cheating is going on, and the partner doesn't want to look at the evidence and tries to stay in denial, and will be like, no. And you almost have to
you have to say, the writing on the wall is kind of stacking up here.
Yeah. And so you'll see people on all ends of the spectrum, and a lot of it comes from their trauma and their attachment wounds in terms of how they're responding to what their partner is doing. And so one of the first things to do, Tyler, is to stop and take stock of yourself, and to look at this and say, okay, like, am I healthy? Am I operating from a healthy place? Is this my intuition? Is this my gut feel? Is this coming from a healthy place? And what are the facts? What is reality? I'm not going to shy away from facts, and I'm also not going to fabricate and make up facts. What are the actual facts going on here? And the only way that you'll be able to settle on those and see those clearly is if you've sorted out your own stuff first.
I think one part of this that doesn't get talked about maybe enough when this question comes up is that part of attachment. I was talking to a betrayed partner just a couple of days ago, and everything about this case is lining up to say, like, she's
infidelity,
total infidelity. She's an amazing person. She's a total catch, and I'm talking to her, and all these things are stacking up, and it's like, you can see the second life going on in her partner.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, and she's in that space that you're talking about of almost like denial. And then it went a step further, and I said, well, what is it that's the most primary thing that's going on inside of you? And she kind of got emotional, and she said, I'm just so afraid. I'm so afraid of being rejected. She's like, I'm so afraid of like not being good enough or measuring up. And then what that does is it kind of brings out her anxious attachment. And now she almost willfully and willingly doesn't want to look at all of the evidence because she's operating from a place of fear of rejection herself. And I'm sitting here on the outside going like, dude, you deserve so much better than what you're currently getting right now.
Yeah.
Like you can't just see that and accept that. But because she's in that place of the fear and the shame and the worry about being rejected, she's chasing a relationship with the very person who's very, very likely cheating on her.
Right. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Tyler. It's like, and maybe she's not ready to face the reality yet. Maybe she doesn't want to, but it'll probably happen where as things progress, she'll get to a breaking point where she's almost forced to face that reality and deal with what is right in front of her. Maybe, right?
Right. Well, in a situation like that, the unfortunate and hard part about that is that the way that she'll eventually come to facing reality is having to come to an understanding of what it is in her that's driving that, which is her own fear and shame.
Yeah.
And then she's going to have to make peace with her own fear, her own shame, and start to learn to accept the truth of her goodness.
Right.
Before she can really start to set the right kinds of boundaries and have the voice that ultimately she's going to need to have in that relationship to keep her self-respect.
Right. Let's back up a little bit, if you don't mind. I'm thinking if I'm a partner and I have suspicions, your years of doing this, Tyler, of working with so many couples, and I'll put you on the spot here a little bit and talk about my experience too, but like, what are some signs that somebody is straying, that somebody is cheating? Because, sometimes, like we say, there's clear evidence. Sometimes it seems to be clear evidence. Sometimes there's not clear evidence, but you feel like something is going on. What are some indicators that there is some cheating going on?
Yeah, that's a good question, Brannon. And for me, there's basically there's kind of two layers to that question. Okay. All right, there's the first layer, which is the obvious layer, which is the actual evidence of the cheating itself. Right. Okay. So that's going to be, hey, there's text messages that seem to be explicit, or there's pictures, or there's a history of surfing the social media and being friends with a whole bunch of like women in bikinis. Right?
There's a voicemail from the best friend of the mistress that is like, hey, I need you to know that my friend is cheating with your spouse. Right. So
all of that stuff.
And that's obvious, blatant stuff.
Yeah. That kind of stuff is that's like the first layer, and that's the obvious stuff, and that's the part that kind of makes your brain go like, okay, like I know for a fact that there's cheating going on now, and I'm going to confront this person, and they still might lie to me, but I really kind of know now, so I'm not going to feel crazy. I'm just going to know that they're lying.
So just to get clear, Tyler, like a bank statement where there's like certain shops on there or gifts being bought.
Yeah, 1-800 numbers.
Why would they buy that? Like that makes zero sense.
Subscriptions to certain things.
Yeah. Here's as obvious as it gets. I've heard this story several times. My cheating partner, my mistress or whatever. I don't know the term for the opposite.
Affair partner.
My affair partner sent me a voicemail, and while I was listening to it, it connected to the Bluetooth speaker in my home, and my spouse heard the voice message. Okay,
that happens all the time.
Yeah, how much more clear can you get than that, right?
Right.
So okay, come back to your layers.
Okay, so that's the obvious stuff. The second set of layers is the stuff that your partner will do to protect the first layer from being seen. Mm-hmm. So this is where like all the secondary forms of their own denial comes in. There's going to be stuff like shifting focus when topics come up. You know, like, hey, who's so-and-so, your secretary that keeps texting you at work? It's like, oh, well, what about the kids stuff tonight we got to get to and run kids around? Like they'll skirt the issue when it starts to come up. They'll put the spotlight on other things.
Or what about that guy at work that texts you, right?
Yeah, or they'll do the flipperoos. They'll throw it back on you. I just had that happen this week where the wife was like looking at it and going like, something feels off, and this and this and this happened. And in my office, he turned around and was like, but you think so-and-so is like hot.
Yeah.
And it's like,
turnarounds.
But we never, defensiveness,
deflection.
blame, deflection, omission. And this isn't just about the affair stuff. This also starts to become kind of a way of life that you see your partner operating in, where they're using those tactics around other behaviors too, like stupid things like, did you go there for dinner last night? So how are the kids doing today? You know, like, or you see like in their business affairs with other people, they're using the same kinds of layers of basically denial and dishonesty. And that's the stuff that a lot of times partners start to feel. They can't put a finger on it per se, but they know something's off.
Yeah.
And then it causes the brain to start to spin and go, hey, something's not quite right here. And then there's the breadcrumbs that start to happen from layer one. And those two things start to come together. And all they're looking for is to go to their partner and say, hey, something feels off. And their partner could just simply be like, I totally effed up. Here's what's going on.
Yeah.
But that almost never happens.
That never happens. There's a shift with betrayal or dishonesty that happens where when you first get in a relationship, you're both working to try to figure out how much you can open up and share with each other and show each other who you are. When that starts to happen, betrayal, the partner, the betraying partner, starts to work really hard to not be seen, to not let you know who they are and what's going on with them. And there's a distinct difference in feeling between those two things with a partner. If I'm with a partner who's trying to work on intimacy and being open and connected to me, versus if I'm working with a partner who's acting as if they are, but trying really hard not to do that, you can feel it.
You'll feel that.
Yeah. And, you know, there's little things like if I pick up their phone and they get all squirmish and weird and like because I touched their phone, like what is that all about? Right? If I ask them, just like you were saying, Tyler, if I ask them a question and they don't just give me a simple answer, so you'll start to feel those things in your relationship. And if you're feeling some of those things, it doesn't necessarily mean that your partner is cheating on you. I want to say that, right. Because they could be doing it for other reasons. But if you are feeling some of those things, those are some signs of it.
If you start to feel those things and they start to stack up with other things, then you kind of start to have it settle in on yourself and go, oh, like,
yeah,
you know, and I think that's maybe one of the biggest things that we want to talk about today with this question is that your gut instinct does really matter.
Yes.
Right.
Can I just add, Tyler, before we go there, because I really want to go there, but like, there's something else that I think is important to take a look at. And it's the things that aren't like just explicitly obvious in front of your face, but they are. So what I mean is like, if your partner has some really blurred lines when it comes to boundaries with other people, you know, they're flirtatious, you know, they send text messages that seem like, why would you send that to him or her, or, you know, like, and so it's like, you're not like getting the information that they are cheating, but you are getting the information that they are, you know, somebody puts feelers out. They have an energy that is, I'm available for that. And as a partner, you can pick up on that and you can see that. And coming back to what you just said about gut feel, those type of things, you won't let me touch your phone. You're very friendly with everybody, like all sexes, and especially with the opposite sex. you're defensive when I want to get close to you. I feel disconnected from you, and I feel like you're trying really hard to stay disconnected. What's going on? And this is where your gut comes in, right, Tyler?
That's all that stuff you're talking. Exactly, Brannon. I maybe to go a step further on that stuff, like you said, sometimes I think the betraying partner is a little bit blind themselves to how close they're walking the edge and
all the time,
and to the energy, the openness of the energy with which they're putting it off. I think that's really important to reiterate what you said is it's almost like I'm not really looking for an affair, but I'm also not opposed to it if I get the right attention. Right. So it's like I'm out there and I'm still holding the line in my marriage or my relationship, but if the person at work decided to start telling me I was awesome and then they wanted to go to lunch with me once in a while, I'd be open to that. That would be okay. Like, and they a lot of times they actually walk themselves into the place that even they didn't fully intend to go. But again, that often boils down to an internal process that they haven't made peace with yet about seeking their answer in the wrong places of who they are.
Right.
So I'm in a relationship. My partner is critical and doesn't tell me they love me all that often. And so it feels really good to have my coworker tell me that I'm amazing. And we happen to spend an hour in the car each way on the drive.
And their spouse is awful too. And they vent about their spouse all the time. And we just talk crap on our spouses together.
Yeah.
And it feels really validating, but we're just friends.
Yeah, but it's just a friend, right? Yeah. Or you find yourself like another one that happens a lot is that that there's contact with that person, but there's not really a lot of discussion about the type of contact with that person. It kind of stays under the surface. It kind of stays hidden. It's like and if you're in the position of being on the risk of being the betrayer, you need to know that if you find yourself sort of wanting to withhold certain kinds of information or certain discussions or certain kinds of, that's probably a sign that your boundaries might need to be looked at a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. For yourself.
Yeah.
We could do a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
Because I think people do it and they know they do it, but they give themselves permission. So I want to get to the actual question. Right, Tyler? So I think what we've been going through is like, as you've been listening, hopefully you're kind of being like, oh, like this is me in my situation, or this is just interesting. I'm listening. But the actual question is how can you get them to tell the truth? If you're sensing it, coming back to your gut feel, right? Like it comes down to you have a gut feel. You either have hard evidence, maybe you have soft evidence, maybe you just have a gut feel. Then what do you do? Like, how do you get them to actually tell the truth if they are cheating? And this is what people want to know.
Yeah, I know. It's like we need to bust out the hot lamp and the heart monitor and get back to teaching everybody how to do like a lie detector test.
The hot
yeah. I don't mean the hot lamp in terms of my addiction. I mean in terms of like.
I got you. When you say hot lamp on this show, Tyler, it means one thing.
It means it's reference to my addiction.
I went straight to fried burritos, man. So.
I'm going to bribe my partner into telling the truth with a corn dog. No, okay. I'm talking about putting the press on, putting the heat on. A lot of times, what doesn't really work is you go and you chase and you chase and you chase and you press and you press and you press, and then you feel crazy and more crazy and more crazy.
Right. That doesn't work if they're not willing to break to like get honest. Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't also work if they're not cheating and you're pressing the issue and you they're cheating, but they're actually not. And then that causes an issue too.
Right. And so what you have to go off is your gut. And one of the best ways to actually help, and this has been my experience, Brannon, you can speak to this, is if I go and I take my gut feeling and the breadcrumbs that I currently have, and I may not even use the breadcrumbs right off the bat, but I go and I say, hey, this is what's going on for me. I'm feeling a little bit crazy. This is what I'm finding. What's going on for you? Are you cheating? Are you having an affair? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? you're going to partially, in fact, in a lot of ways, make your next decision based off of the energy and the response that your partner gives, even if they don't come straight forward and say, I'm having an affair. If they do any of those tactics of skirting the issue or denying or flipping it back on you or getting defensive, or shutting down or, ignoring you, those things are going to give you a gut feeling, and you should follow the gut feeling from those things.
And I'm kind of hearing you say follow the gut feeling to a place of being direct and honest and with them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So it might even turn into like, well, here's what I'm seeing and here's how I'm feeling. And until I can get myself planted again emotionally, I'm going to be doing this, and this in our relationship.
Okay.
Because I need to protect my heart, whatever's coming up. And then maybe your partner isn't having an affair and they're like, hey, I swear I'm not having an affair. I don't know what's going on. Like, the energy with which they come back to you is still going to kind of give to you the space that they're in terms of being able to be connecting or not with you, being empathetic or not.
Right. It's kind of like when we do disclosures, and it's like we're more gauging kind of where their heart is at and their willingness to open up versus like everything that's being said. Which by the way, Brannon, is the whole reason we're in the relationship in the first place isn't to chase down the cheating or not. The cheating isn't the actual problem. Right.
It's all of those other secondary things that are leading to the disconnection that is causing your kind of like antenna to notice that something's wrong anyway. So that's the stuff that needs to be addressed in the relationship anyway.
Right. The cheating matters, but what you're saying, Tyler, is what kind of relationship do you have anyways if you're having this major disconnect in these intimacy issues and these connection issues? That needs to be addressed regardless.
No matter what.
Right? Yeah. A couple things, Tyler. I'm thinking about somebody with hard evidence. I think there's some strategic things they can do if you have hard evidence. So one thing you can do is you can go to your partner and say, hey, I know something is going on, and I want to give you a chance to tell me what it is first, because I can show you that something's going on, but I'm inviting you to get honest with me. Now, why would I do it that way, Tyler?
I think there's two reasons to do it that way. The first one is to give your partner a chance to actually demonstrate and practice honesty.
Yeah.
Which if they are honest with what you already know, then that in some ways actually, even though it's devastating and hurts, it's a sign that they're working towards being trustworthy.
It's better.
Right. It's better than, and if they're dishonest, then that also gives you the more information.
Yes.
As to like where they're actually at in their own process of wanting to change or address their issues.
Yep. Both those reasons. And there's a third thing of if you might find out more than the evidence that you have. If you open it up and they get honest and it's like, oh, now I'm getting more information about what's actually going on here. But you don't want to bait them into that. If you just have a gut feel, and you go to them and you say, I know you're cheating. Tell me, you can either tell me about it or not, but you don't know that, then you're, getting yourself in a
that's like playing a hand of poker and you have a 2 and a 7 and you're going all in and you're going all in.
Yeah, you're going all in. Exactly.
And you don't have a hand to go all in with at that point.
Right. Like if you got a pair of jacks and then you can step in and you can really play that hand of like, okay, it's time to get honest. I have information. I'm inviting you to tell me what's going on. So the other thing, and this goes hand in hand with that, and you were just saying this, with hard evidence, you can be direct. And even to the point of showing the hard evidence. Look, here it is. I know about it. This is it. Right? So you don't have to skirt around the issue too much. Go after it. Whatever they do, squirm, own it, blame you back, whatever they do, it's good to face the reality of what's going on with them. So hard evidence is a lot easier to get your spouse to admit they're cheating if you have the hard evidence. I've seen it though, Tyler, where the spouses had very clear evidence, very, and the cheating partner still like, and they look like total fools. I mean, they do. They just foolish.
It's like playing hide and seek with a 3-year-old and they put their hands in front of their face and think they're hidden.
Yeah. It's crazy because they're so conditioned to denying it and hiding from it and pretending like it's not there. They stay right there even when like they're cooked. So that happens sometimes.
Oh, dude. I remember like we had this lady in drug court several years ago. She was doing so good. It was a 4-phased program. She got to level 4. She was in level 4, which meant like 3 more months. She gets totally off of probation. She's totally clean. She has a relapse, and she comes back dirty on a P test. And so we're like, oh shoot. So we send it away again and have it retested. So we had it double tested. We knew she was dirty. She comes into my group and I'm like, hey, is there anything we need to talk about today? And everyone's like, no. And I kind of like go directly to her and I'm like, hey, we need to, we got some hot numbers on your labs. Like, is there anything that you like to tell us? No, I don't know. Like, that's got to be a false test. That's got to be it. I'm like, she doesn't know we've sent it away to like have it confirmed. I'm like, well, court is tomorrow, and I know the judge. I know how the judge operates. Like, you can either come clean. You'll probably get like a small sanction, like 7 days in work release, and then you'll come right back out, level 4. You'll be graduating in 3 months. But if you don't come clean, that judge is going to send you away for 5 years on your prison sentence.
Jeez Louise.
And she's like, nope. And then she went after a group and talked to a bunch of the other like participants, and it's this jailhouse mentality, and all of them got together and it's like, you never admit it. Deny. She goes to court the next day and the judge is like hammering her, just like, please, just like tell me the truth. And she's like, nope. Boom, she's gone for 5 years to prison.
Yeah.
And all she had to do is say, yeah, I messed up.
Well, Tyler, we laugh at this, but it's not funny. But the thing about it is, here's the beauty of it. As the partner, when you have that evidence, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Now, this is where you've got to trust yourself. You got to come back to trusting yourself, knowing what is, and actually knowing that you can have boundaries and you can step into the hard and deal with this, even if they're unwilling to. So that's like the hard evidence, the obvious stuff.
Yeah.
The other stuff, the attachment issues, the disconnection. So Tyler, are you saying if I have a gut feel, like let's say I just feel like something's off, I'm seeing a few signs, nothing, I haven't gotten anything. Is it smart of me to turn into investigator to try to gather information and figure out what's going on? Like if I, let's say, go to the parking lot and watch them come to their car after work to see who they're going to the car with, should I, watch their phone and everywhere they go? Like, well, is that smart of me? What do you think?
I think sometimes if you kind of have the gut to go do that, then you go do it and you find out. And something about the brain knowing does give some level of peace and order. But most of the time, it's you're just asking yourself, is it going to produce for you what you're looking for it to produce? If you go sit out in the parking lot and then nothing happens, is that actually going to change that you feel better and you can trust them again? If you go check the history every single day, and then do you get done and be like, oh, good, they're being honest with me? Or do you get done and be like, oh, they're probably hiding it a different way?
I had a client once. Her husband went out of town on a business trip. She bought a flight and got in disguise and sat next to him on the flight, and then knew the hotel he was in and actually snuck in, somehow got in his hotel room and hid in the hotel room all night long just to see what happened. And she busted him. Now here's the thing. I actually think Tyler, I think we got to be a little bit careful because we work so much on staying out of the fear cycle where it's like, hey, this type of stuff isn't helping you. Sometimes it does. Sometimes your gut feel says, hey, I got to go find something. And I've heard stories of like, someone praying and feeling like I got to go check the computer history right now. And they go check it and they find everything and they see everything. And it's like, that's actually a good thing. Yeah. It's a good thing that they followed their gut and they did that. But when you're spinning in fear and those things aren't productive, and it's kind of like, well, if I already know that I've been cheated on or I am being cheated on and I'm still following them around, at that point, then I am just spinning in my anxiety and my fear.
I think it's the energy with which you pursue it that matters, Brannon. Like that's what you're talking about. The fear cycle is going to be one of just like pure chaos, anxiety, fear, like unsteadiness. And the gut feeling is kind of like where the mind and the heart overlap and go, like that's kind of what happened to me years ago is my wife had that gut, like, hey, go home and get on the computer. Boom. It was right there, like instant. Right. But that's more of like almost like a spiritual experience of like, it almost has in a weird way, it has its own form of peace in it, even though it's still devastating to you.
Right. But what that means is in that peace, like that you can do some of that investigation work and it's okay.
Yes. If it's a gut thing that's saying to do that, and you have to be honest with yourself about that. If you're chasing it from a place of the fear and the shame and all of that, then it's probably going to, I don't know that it's going to yield the results for you that could just be, you have enough evidence in just following your gut to go through with your boundaries anyway.
Right.
Now the trick is here's what not to do is I think my partner is relapsed, let's say, and I'm going to go play 20 questions with them. They're still, I think, lying to me. And then I go and set my boundary and say, I'm going to sleep in the other room until you tell me you relapsed.
Yeah, I mean,
that doesn't work because maybe they actually haven't really relapsed. But what you can do is don't attach your boundary to the admission of the relapse. Attach your boundary to your own emotional grounding.
Yeah.
To your own principles in terms of what's it going to take for me to get grounded, to get a clear mind, to then be able to make the decisions that I need to make. And that's where I'm going to set my boundaries. And the byproduct is that it has an effect on your partner and they have a chance to have whatever space or time or whatever to think of things through and decide whether or not they want to actually get honest or not if there is something to say.
Yep. I was working with a guy years ago and he wasn't cheating. His wife came to him and said, I know you're cheating. If you admit it to me, then there's hope for us. If you don't, we're going to get divorced. And so he came into a session and he's like, what am I going to do? What I told him is, you stay honest. Whatever it is, whatever you've done, be honest, be open. You can be like connected to how she's feeling, but don't you dare lie. Don't make up that you cheated so that your marriage has a chance.
To save your marriage.
Yeah. And what's interesting is, so he stayed honest and she ended up not divorcing him. But you can see major problems there, right, Tyler?
Either way. That's the point is that honesty on the betrayer side of things is always the best policy, even if it comes with consequence.
Right.
But we can't control that. We can control, if I go to my kids and I might approach them about something they're being dishonest about, and I kind of know, but I don't have the full evidence, I'm going to do the best I can to try to help have a discussion about that, have a discussion about the implications of what dishonesty brings in relationships, this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, I'm then going to have to set my boundaries based off of the information that I have.
It sucks, Tyler. Sometimes, like my son, we had this nice leather couch, and he carved his sister's name in the couch with a knife. And so,
he framed her.
Show up, and there's her name. And I just grill her, to the point where she's crying, like, I don't know, it wasn't me, I don't know. And I'm like, and I'm like, and I start to believe her finally, and I'm like, and then my son the next day, like, I asked him, like, yeah, it was me. I just, like, but my poor daughter,
Poor kid.
Yeah. But so, I think it's important to be, instead of going and attacking and saying, this is what you're doing, I know it, go and talk about you.
This is what I'm feeling, and this is what I have to do about it.
I don't feel safe. I don't feel connected.
This is what I suspect.
I do feel unsafe because I see you flirting with people. That's a reality. I do feel unsafe because every time I touch your phone, it gets really uncomfortable. So you can give those type of evidences, even if you don't have that hard evidence of cheating. And if you lay that out and you say, here's where I'm at, and this is what I need to do as a result, whether or not you admit to me that you're cheating or not, right? Like, this is where I'm at, and this is how I need to move forward, right?
Yeah. And I think, Brannon, coming all the way back around to the question that was, you can have those discussions, be straightforward, be honest with your own feelings, be willing to show whatever, if you do have that level 1 kind of evidence, be willing to bring that out into the light after you have that conversation. But at the end of the day, this is the frustrating part, I think, for some people, but it's the truth, is that you don't actually always need to have the hard evidence to still make your choices based off of what your heart and your gut need.
And 9 times out of 10, if it walks like a duck and if it talks like a duck, usually it's a duck, but that's only 9 times out of 10. Sometimes it's not. And so what I'm saying is like if you really feel something, then you don't want to make assumptions, but you can be honest with yourself that you're feeling that thing.
Sure.
Right? And then you can act accordingly.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I think even there's been times like, and I think this is common for a lot of couples in our own process where something did feel off, and like my wife would come to me and say, "Hey, you relapsed, haven't you?" And I'd be like, "No, I haven't relapsed." Yeah, right. But then what she learned to say is, "You relapsed, haven't you?" And I say, "No, I haven't. What's going on?" And she'd be like, "I'm feeling this and this and this. Something's wrong. Something's off." And then she would go, "I don't know, but I'm going to take some time, and it might be a couple hours, it might be a night, it might be a day or two." And in that process, during that, I would then go away and have a chance to go, what would possibly be triggering that for her? And I would do a self-assessment first of, am I being dishonest in some other way? And sometimes I'd catch myself going like, oh yeah, I've been kind of hiding this little stupid thing over here, like
this hot lamp that I used today.
The hot lamp that I've been throwing in the bottom of the trash after I get home every night, or or yeah, oh yeah, I forgot to tell her that I spent $50 on fantasy football or something, and so then I'd go back to her and say, I think maybe this is part of what you're picking up on. And what that did is it helped me learn to get more honest again, but it also then helped to validate her gut feeling. And then there were other times when I'd do that assessment and I'd be like, I don't know, I don't know why that's going off for her, but at least I did the work to then go back and say, hey, right. I'm not sure what's happening for you. I'm sad that you're in a rough spot right now. I've been thinking about it and I haven't come up with anything that might be triggering that. So if you see something, let me know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
But in that scenario you're talking about, you sound like an open partner who's trying to connect and trying to figure it out versus somebody who's trying to hide something.
Yeah. Or coming back to her and being like, whoops, sucks to be you. Hope you get over your trauma fast.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Right.
So this isn't easy. This is a hard one. And I would say it's helpful, like really helpful, to have some good, healthy people in your corner on all ends of it. So I've seen support systems really help somebody confront some things that they were too scared to confront. I've seen support systems show up for people when they're spinning and the facts don't add up that there is cheating going on, and they're able to ground that person and help them get back to reality and deal with their own anxiety. Support systems oftentimes are the last thing that people want to do when it comes to figuring out whether your partner's cheating or not, because you tell yourself that this is just between me and my partner. And I would urge you to actually consider having a couple people. They're like your support systems to help you with your relationship. I have a couple people that I can talk to, that I can open up to, that will give me advice about how to deal with my marriage and things that I need to do. So I rely on healthy people, have them in your corner, bounce things off of them so that you can get clear as to what reality is.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Brannon. And I know that when you're in the business that you're in, listening to this podcast, wondering if your partner has been cheating, it's such a dark, crazy place to be. I just want to validate that I know that sometimes you just feel crazy. And one of the only things that you really have left to cling on to is trying to make sure that where your mind and your heart overlap, you follow that instinct every time. Regardless of whether or not you get the truth, that is the thing that you can nurture, and people lose touch with that. And when they lose touch with that part of themselves, it makes the climb out even harder. So follow through on your gut feeling whenever you get that place where your heart and your mind overlap.
Absolutely. You guys, if this is helpful, please share it. Please come on our show. We'd love to have you as a guest. And until next time, keep on keeping on.